I'm a superwoman. My powers have no limit, cause I move by the way of woman. And I'm in I trust. And I'm in I trust. This world. With my soul ahead, flying everywhere. And my soul is skin, really rhymes with it. Yes, I'm a real superwoman.
She's so out of this world, man. So amazing. She's so out of this world. Other racing women look with fascination. She decided.
Okay. There you go. So, there we go. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And we are back. We are back once again. I'm Mighty Talks with Nuben Menkares. I'm your host, the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is my High and Mighty Talks. And I think this is our 8th installment, our 8th episode. And as I said, you know, we're getting everything together. We're going, like I said, this is an organic broadcast. And, you know, how we do things, we put things together. You know, I wanted to have a very warm feel, a very personal and personable feel for the viewers, who could sit here and y'all say, you know what? I feel like I'm right at home with him. I wanted to have it as though we're having a conversation. We're sharing some things. Some deep things to think about, things that we don't really ponder. So I'm going to get into that, you know. So a few things I want to touch on. One second. A few things. All right. Okay. Well, one of the things I wanted to, well, before I start anything, always, in the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Amen we trust, in Amen we think, and in Amen we continue forward forever. And that's for the intelligent, the elect ones of our people, who hopefully are tuning into this broadcast. We got a lot of viewers, you know, we're starting to get, you know, build up our viewers. I want everybody to subscribe to High and Mighty Talks. It's cool that you are, you know, signed up and, you know, subscribe to MENTELLECT, to the MENTELLECT channel 144, which is good. That's my channel as well. We do snippets on there. The full broadcast, you got to go to the MENTELLECT Patreon, you know, and you'll have all the bonus material and the nightly broadcast that we do on MENTELLECT Radio, which will be on tonight at 10 o'clock, latest 10:30. So tune in for that. The call-in number for that is 319-527-6028. All right, so let's jump into this. You know, I was thinking about this topic. I came across a lot of these so-called judges out here in the judicial system, and how I'm seeing a lot of them, which are Caucasian judges, who are basically cutting Caucasian felons and lawbreakers and people committing crimes, you know, basically cutting them breaks on time. Basically, not in some parts of law enforcement, they're not even arresting Caucasian people because the law enforcement is Caucasian, right? They're not. A lot of these people are just walking around out here as criminals, and it's definitely not reported in the Caucasian media about white people committing crimes. I mean, it's all over the place where, you know, crimes that so-called black people would get arrested for, booked for, and sometimes falsely accused of, and it'll take, a long time to clear their names. You have these people out here, Caucasians, who are paying taxes like us, and here we paying taxes, and our tax money goes to violent, racist police officers. It goes to government that does nothing for us, and on the political side does nothing for so-called quote-unquote black people, has no real representation for so-called black people. So, it put me in mind of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a long time ago, and he was so on point. And like I said, he was the first one to talk about separation of the races, mainly because, and it's not because of any hatred or anything, but it's more to do with, people who feel comfortable dealing with their own kind. When black people sit and say, if I was so, white people get, less time for doing this and black people get more time. If you can see, huge difference in how law, the so-called judicial system, handles race and works off of race and works off of, incarcerating some while giving genetic immunity to others. And I say genetic immunity, meaning that Caucasians, being that they run the judicial system, they run the law enforcement system, they run the political system, they're only going to look out for their own kind. They're not going to look out for our people. I don't care how much you vote. I don't care how much money you put into these people. You're voting for nothing. You're putting money into this system for nothing. We're not supposed to have people that don't look like us arresting us or judging us in any courts of law. That's not right. In Atlanta, you have Asians. You actually have a real Asian community in Atlanta, but they have their own police, their own, their own jail system where they put the people of their ethnic background, Asians, where they deal with their own people. They have their own police and everything in Atlanta. And you're going to start seeing these little enclaves pop up all over the United States, because right now they're heavily, this country heavily favors Asians. Reason why this country heavily favors Asians is because it goes to the book of Revelation. I'm just, going to use this as a quote where it says dragon gave power to the beast. So now you see in return, the beast is giving power to the dragon. Who is the beast? The beast is the so-called white man, the Caucasian. That's the beast. Who is the dragon? The dragon is the so-called Asian. Because you notice they use dragons in their symbols, and also as a way of thanking the dragon, because who gave the beast, the Caucasians, who gave them the greatest invention of all to be able to take over the world? They were given the gift of gunpowder. You see, gunpowder to make guns, bombs, weapons, that greatly gave a huge advantage to Caucasians so that they could take over the world, take over this country and things like that, and basically subjugate other people. So now you're seeing that in real time, that they're repaying the dragon back by giving them preferential treatment in the society. You have an Asian hate crime. In other words, you can't say nothing derogatory or negative to Asians, or else that's a federal hate crime. Whereas so-called black people, you don't have that law passed for you. That law as a federal hate crime, if somebody, law enforcement violates your so-called civil rights, or, disrespects you in any kind of way, or murders you, you have nothing, you have no, there's no way of dealing with this law enforcement system. There's no punishment for the law enforcement officers who enact this type of behavior, or people who enact this type of behavior on you. So people are given preferential treatment in the society, yet we have to pay taxes, yet we are expected to fight in the military. Yet we are treated not as citizens of the United States, but we are more like natives of this country or this continent of America. We're not treated as citizens of the United States. There's a one thing to be a native of America, and there's another thing to be a non-citizen of the United States. Because if you think about it, that's basically how we're treated. We're treated as non-citizens, right? People who, have natural asylum in America because we were here before everybody else. They just don't want to say that. The Caucasian historians, they don't want to say that we are the first people here in America, that we are the real indigenous ethnic Americans. Hell, Native Americans, if you want to be technical about it. Natural Americans here. Nobody wants to say that. And the problem is, you so-called black people, y'all not sticking up for this. Y'all still halfway holding on to the African story. A lot of y'all still holding on to blackness and all this other nonsense. And this is the reason why we are not seen as a viable people, a people who have a culture, an ethnicity, a heritage to stand on, that we stand up for. And it's very evident, it's very clear that the reason why this country has any real culture here, the reason why America has any real culture here, the reason why America has any real social prominence is because of so-called black people. Through our music, through our style, through our, everything we do. As you say, our swag, I hate to use that word, but for the young people, whether y'all still use that or not, right? That's our influence here in America. That's our influence in America. And we're not, that's not embraced, or we're not embraced as a people here in America because of that. We're not, us as a people are not a respected people, are not a respected class here in America. And we're partly to blame for that. We're partly to blame. Why do I say we're partly to blame? Is because we're not standing up together collectively. Because we've had nothing to stand up for or stand up under. Like I said, the Asians can stand up as the Asians. Caucasian stand up as the Caucasians. All their little subgroups, Italian, German, whatever. The Asians, Chinese, Japanese, whatever the case may be, Korean. All these people are protected classes. Hell, gays and lesbians are protected classes. Trying to make them an ethnicity. But we are still at the bottom of the barrel because we have not stood up collectively as a people. So when I say that we should be known going forward as ethnic Americans, the intelligent ones of our people, who really want to stand up for race, culture, heritage, ethnicity, that's real. That's what we should be known as, because we are the ethnicity of America. So-called black people who have had their heritage taken from them, who've been called black people, basically were white clean, like memory-wise and everything, on the plantations, right? Made to embrace Negro and African American on the census. We basically had our heritage and culture white clean. Okay? And as a result of that, this is why we go through what we go through today, why we get violated why black people get violated by the police, right? Why black people get violated by the police, why you get redlined in your neighborhoods, right? Why your streets are not fixed in your neighborhoods, why your neighborhood is allowed to be gentrified, why abandoned buildings and crime are allowed to take place in your neighborhoods. The only time they try to clean up your neighborhoods or the police come and do anything is when white people move into your neighborhoods. When Caucasians move into your neighborhoods, that's when all of a sudden the red line don't stop. Police all of a sudden know how to protect the neighborhood. You don't see the drug dealers around no more. You don't really see the gangbangers around no more. See, they do that when it comes to the protected classes of people, the Caucasians. Which brings me back to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a long time ago, and that is that we only need to be dealing with each other. We need to be separate as a people. We need to be a separate class of people with our own separate sections, if not our own parts of the country. We need our own separate class. And it's been so evident to whereas it's not even funny. We need our own separate classifications, ethnic Americans. We need that. Not nothing, no black nothing, no black anything. No black nothing. All that black stuff gotta die. See, because when you do the black thing, you gotta include everybody in the black thing. That's the problem with blackness, or calling yourself any form of black, or linking yourself to anything black. Don't fall for the black thing. Don't fall for the black thing, because when you do that, you got to include everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon and play like they black. And this should not be for everybody who wants to just jump on the bandwagon and call themselves black. Ethnic Americans should only be for the people who are indigenous to America, whether you have roots in the West Indies, North America, South America, you know, and in these island regions of the Americas, that should only be for those and our people abroad internationally who are Americans. Because as I said before, American is an ethnicity. Okay, this is an ethnicity, and this is the ethnocenter of so-called black people. Like I said, our culture has touched the world. Our music, our style, our way of speaking and expression has touched the world. We are the culture of America. You can't tell me any other culture that people really care about in this society. Tell me what. I'll wait. Take the question. I want you to take the question. My lovely wife wanted to take the questions because I ain't got time to read no questions. You know, I don't want to be distracted from what I'm saying. Only the best. Yeah. My lovely wife. Huh? I'm sorry, say again? I can't say it. More water? Okay, when you get the chance, just, yeah, a chance. I'll give it a few minutes. But we should only be dealing with each other. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was smart enough to say that states should be set aside for black people. If Caucasians really wanted to end the interracial strife, racism, things like that, because they didn't want to pony up and send our people supposedly to Africa, even though we're not from Africa. I don't advocate Africa because this is our country. Really, realistically, this is our country. And we built this country through slave labor. Our ancestors built this country. Like I said, there'd be no United States economy if it had it not been for slave labor, the free slave labor that our ancestors put into this, the ethnic Americans put into this, that the immigrants came over here and forced on our people through violence, through just straight up theft and robbery of our property, our land and things like that, that we were cultivating. I said last week, I said, people can only have land taken away from them when all of the, when they cultivate the land, when they actually cultivate the land like our people did, grow on the land and do all the things that make land valuable. When people build on the land, you know, just land itself that's not being cultivated, that's not being harvested, nothing being grown from it. That's not, you know, people just living on that. That's not considered, you know, or moving them people aside. That's not considered theft of land, like how like the so-called Native Americans claim that they had land taken away from them. How do you have land taken away from you that you camping out on? Make that make sense to me. How do you have land that, you know, that you basically squatting on? How do you have that land? How do you feel you have a right to land that you're squatting on? We have a different claim as ethnic Americans because we were actually building on this land, growing on this land. Proof of that is one of the earliest people they talk about, some of the a so-called black man, ethnic American, who had land here in I think in South Carolina. He's not the only ones. Plenty of people. They only talk about him. A guy by the name of Anthony Johnson, who had African slaves. Now he's an ethnic American who had African slaves because for a small period, they did bring African slaves over into America. That stopped around 1808, and they brought a small percentage of them here. So you did have a time where tribal Africans were brought here, but then that stopped after a while. Very soon. And a lot of those people got dropped off in the West Indies. But these people, upon stopping the African slave trade, once the Caucasians realized that the Africans didn't have any skill to work the land, didn't really have any skill that made them worth bringing over from Africa across the Atlantic Ocean. Once they found out that it was pretty much fruitless to keep bringing these people over who were, you know, fighting with you, dying on the ship, jumping over the ship, committing suicide. Once they found out that was not feasible financially to keep doing, they just said, hey, we're going to just enslave the people who work in the land, our people. And that's how slavery, like I said, that's how slavery really went. So in that, we should only be dealing with our own people. We should only be judged by our own people. We should only be judged by so-called black judges, you know, ethnic American judges. We should only be arrested by ethnic American police. Same way the Asian. Now people say, all right, you want something just done for you. Well, they doing it for the Asians. Look at Atlanta, and I'm pretty sure, and look in Chinatown here in New York. Look at it in Atlanta. I see in Chinatown, all you see is Asian cops in Chinatown here in New York. I don't see no Caucasian cops there. The Caucasians don't put their hands on them Asians. The Caucasian police, they wouldn't dare brutalize no Asian. When the last time you heard them brutalizing an Asian or brutalizing any other Arabs or any of these other people? You don't see that. You see, or definitely ain't gonna put their hands on no Jews. These Caucasian race soldiers, as Tariq Nasheed calls them, they ain't putting their hands on no Caucasian Jews. That ain't gonna do that. They reserve all that for so-called black people. That's how you know it's concentrated. It's focused on us. It's focused purposely on us and no one else. The natives are the ones who get attacked. The ethnic Americans are the ones who get attacked. They're the ones who get targeted. We should not be arrested. These people should not be putting their hands on us because we're not the same people. We should not be sitting on juries to judge our people because they say a jury of your peers. Now here it is. You have all white juries in South and down south convicting so-called black people. All white juries. You had that going, but no blacks was allowed to sit on any juries for any Caucasian people. You can't arrest them in Atlanta for even up the 60s and 70s. Black cops weren't allowed to arrest Caucasians. You see, and really it's kind of lightweight like that now. They really don't want a lot of black cops arresting white people. It's okay for the Caucasians to arrest you, take you to jail for whatever they decide they want to take you to jail for. You see that they want to keep the whole master slave thing going. We can arrest you and do what we want with you, but you can't do that to us. You see, that's fair, right? No, it's not. That's righteous, right? No, it's not. But the sad thing about it is, while y'all talking about reparations, which the only person who put it into effect and started talking about this was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was the one talking about setting states aside, even though he didn't use the term reparations, because you can't repair our people from the damage that was done. Our people are already mentally damaged. So look at me, who's sitting here in front of you right now. Look at me as one of the survivors of that. Those of our people who still got their mind right, who know we not black, know we didn't come from Africa, not sitting around here worshiping a Caucasian Jesus or a Caucasian Muhammad or whoever the hell. Those of us who still have our minds intact, like I said, that is purely a fortunate thing for us to have our minds attacked, for us not to have our minds destroyed as quote-unquote so-called black people. Because just by us even calling ourselves black shows that our minds have been destroyed here in America. You see? And like I said, we got a lot of people who look like that, so are aiding in keeping the destruction going. I don't know why y'all don't see the so-called gangbangers and drug dealers and wannabe thugs and criminals. I don't know why y'all don't see them as Sambos and coons. I don't know why you don't see the gangbangers as Sambos and coons. Because they wouldn't dare unleash that madness that they do out on Caucasians in their neighborhoods. But they do it in their own neighborhoods. They make their neighborhoods bad. You see, why are they not seen as Sambos and coons? Right along with the rest of the Sambos and coons out here that's destroying our people. That's working in unison with the beast to destroy our people. You see, it's not until our people get their mind right that we're going to go through and receive this recompense for the things that were done to our people. It's not till our people's minds are right. Their minds are not right. Their minds are not right. That's why we shouldn't be mixing our seed with these people. We should only stay amongst our own kind. We shouldn't be mixing our seed with these people. We shouldn't be under their justice system and things like that. We should have our own. Like I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and they doing it with the Asians. So they can't say, we can't have no separate Americans. They doing it with the Asians. They doing it with the Mongoloid Indians. You see, they pick and choose when they want to give certain people or give people the authority over their own people without them interfering. See, they only want to keep that going with us because they want to keep the master slave thing going. They want to keep their foot on our neck. And for you so-called black men out here who committing crimes, you put the white man's foot on your neck. You put his foot on your neck. This is the worst time to be committing crimes out here. The worst time to be going to jail. The worst time to be caught up in the system. But I already know that's going to fall on deaf ears. So I'm hoping the intelligent ones who can be reached with this message, they hear this and take heed to it. Please share and subscribe to High and Mighty Talks. We're going to get into some more. All right? I'll look into some more. Want to make sure I'm touching on everything. Okay. brings me to our culture. Remember I said that, or I may not have said this on High and Mighty Talks. I talked about our ethnic American soul culture. Because people always say we have no culture. We have ethnic American soul culture. I gave it that name. I coined it that. Because we are the ethnicity of America and we are a soul people. Our music is soulful. Our dance, how we interact with each other, how we talk to each other, how our men and women, you know, come together is a very soulful, vibrant energy with our people when they're in their right state of mind. I'm not talking about you Negroes out here who are auditioning to be black Caucasians. You know, you niggas who say things like awesome and amazing, trying to act like your white counterparts. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our people who actually embrace their ethnic American soul culture. I'm not talking about you bed wenches and you hair hats and mop heads who want to wear fur on top of your head to look like Caucasian female. I'm talking about the natural sisters, the natural ethnic American, natural men and women who love one another, who love and embrace each other. And we ain't looking to swirl and intermix and love everybody, because don't nobody love us. So why the hell are we looking to love everybody else? We actually have a real culture here. We have a very real culture here. We are the culture of America. We are the Americans, the only Americans, and we should never forget that. Don't let anybody hijack us with the whole African thing, because I told you, you got a lot of Negroes. I'm talking about my ethnic American brothers. We got a lot of Negroes amongst us, a whole lot of Negroes who are ready to work in tandem with the beast to keep us in this black mental state, this Negro mental state, this African American relationship, this Pan-African relationship. No, thank you. No, thank you. We're not buying the we're not buying the bridge no more. We're not buying the Brooklyn Bridge. We're not buying the soap. We're not drinking the Kool-Aid. No. These are thinkers that are being born. I'm hoping to raise thinkers in these chats. I'm hoping to raise thinkers in these High and Mighty Talks. You see, we can have real talk here, real conversation. I'm just a man sitting here, extraordinary, a little extra, a man who's sitting here and sharing thoughts, real thoughts. See, there's no putting on here. You see, it's all natural here. You might hear my baby screaming in the background. You might hear, me talking with my wives, getting things straight, with the setup and everything, because it is a grind to do this. I want to get to doing this 3 times a week. I want to put a lot of content on this channel on High and Mighty Talks. That's why I would like you all to share it, and I know it's not going to have a broad appeal like that, because you got a lot of our people who are mentally ill. A lot of them are sick. A lot of them are just off. A lot of them are childish and immature, so they can't really listen to and hear a message of evolution, a message of growth for our people. They can't really hear that. They'll hear it and they'll take it to be all kinds of negatives. Oh, this guy's racist. Oh, he's smoking a joint. Oh, maybe this guy needs to get in the gym a little more and lose a little more weight. Well, let me tell you something about that. I'm gonna say this. I know people, because they're a lot of small-minded people, they look for anything to say. There was some clown that and I'm not even gonna really mention your name, but you on the last 2 videos talked about, oh, it's good to have you back. He was trying to sneak diss me and whatnot, and talk about do they have any gyms where you? I'm in the gym all the time, man. I got a little bit of a little dad pouch, man. I've been out of the gym. I just got back in last winter time, coming back in. Everything is smoothing out fine. Arms and chest is off the chain. Everything else moving out fine. Since you want to know. Which brings me to my next topic. Real men versus bitch-ass males. Versus bitch males. Male bitches, I should say. Excuse me. I hate to use that language, but that's the best way I can use it. Be mindful of these male bitches out here. You see, because real men are not very, real men are not very popular today. It takes real men to sit up here and have real talk, real conversation with, who not playing games, who not sugarcoating shit, who not playing around and whatnot. It takes real men to get up here and do this. You got a lot of male bitches who get up here and they doing it not because they have anything really constructive to say, like the male bitch that came in and tried to make a comment about, I guess I don't got the 6-pack yet. trying to make a comment about that. I'm a dad of 2. I'm 51 years old. He asked the question. I said, if you was trying to be funny, trying to sneak this, but that's unfortunate. And it didn't even bother me more than the fact that you complimenting me in one thing, talking about you glad I'm back and I'm doing long videos, but then you sneak this and me talking about, well, I'm not trying to be funny, but don't get mad. You trying to get me mad by saying that. I'm not mad at it because I already know I'm not fat at all. Not 6-pack, but not fat at all. But don't bother me. I just mention it because if you are watching, I removed your comment because I don't want anybody focusing on the comments of male bitches. I don't want any male bitches listening to me. I don't want any male bitches. I want only real men and real women listening to me. I don't want any male bitches or female bitches listening to me. You see, female dogs and male dogs listening to me. You see, low lives. I only want highly intelligent, advanced people listening to me, thinkers. That's what I want listening to me. You see, real men listening to me who are looking to clean their act up, who listening to hear real talk, who are looking to come into alignment with what we pushing forward as ethnic Americans. We'll have up our American Republic worldwide site very soon. It's going to replace our Mesoamerican, and we're going to open up for membership because it's time for us to be a real community again. It's time for us to be a real community and stand behind something. We don't need the religion. Drop the religion off. You see, I'm letting you know we are checking off the things we don't want in our community. Checking off the things we don't want in our global community because this is going to be a global community. American Republic worldwide is a global community. It's for ethnic Americans only. You see, it's not for black people, and it ain't for nobody else. It's only for those people who identify as ethnic Americans, and we're all over the globe. So that's why I do these videos, to bring out the ethnic American. All right. Now the real reason, and see, my topics go right into each other. The real reason why I say I don't want black people following me, because black is a state of mind, and black people can't come together, because I said this on my broadcast before. I said black people are in a 2-dimensional level of thinking. An individual way of thinking, a possessive. Remember I said there's 3 stages in this 3-dimensional realm. You have people, places, and possessions. The people are on the 3rd dimensional level. The places are on the 1st, and the possessions are secondary. Black people, so-called black people, still see themselves as possessions, not as a people. Because in order for you to see yourself as a people, you have to have an understanding of the need to come together. Why you have to come together as a people. See, real people understand the need for cohesiveness amongst each other. Real people understand the need of putting things aside that do not, factor in our evolution or for the betterment of ourselves and kind. That's all we should be thinking about as people. See, real people think like that. So black people are not even a real people. They're possessions of Caucasians. Because who called you black? Caucasians did. Who told you you was African American? Caucasians did. They just used Jesse Jackson to do it. You see, to give you this fake title of African American, which again is an immigrant title, and we're not immigrants. We didn't come from anywhere. So so-called black people are not even a real people. You might as well refer to them as black possessions. Why? Because black people still mentally belong to white people. What do I mean by that? Black people go out of their way to try to get validation from Caucasian people, whether it's from the things I'm saying, the things I'm teaching, the things I brought out through MENTELLECT. They always go, well, where's your proof at, brother? Where's your sources at? In other words, where the Caucasians validating what I'm saying? I don't look to Caucasians to validate anything I say. I don't care what they think. I don't care what black people who care about what they think. I'm so not in alignment with any of that it's not even funny. And I don't want my people who are actually walking with me to be in alignment with any of that. We are in a whole nother stage of being and a whole nother stage of evolution. I want to make sure no one's asking questions. I also put in the call-in number because, let me see. Y'all know the call-in number, 929-430-5191. Okay, those of you want to call in. Like my wife's hooked up the calling system pretty good thus far. I don't know yet. I don't know if somebody calls and if I get a call, but I ain't worried about it. I'm just talking. I'm just chilling out Sunday night, you know. Anyway, please share and like and subscribe. Please share, like, and subscribe. Like I said, I'm just a real man having real talks. Real talks. I'm not, whether people listen, whether you subscribe, whether you like or whatever. If you don't, that's fine. If you do, that's fine too. Hopefully, you evolved in your thinking to be able to listen to what's being said, because that's why I do this. I put myself out there with the hopes that my people are evolved enough to hear what's being said and not look at everything else, try to be distracted by everything else. You know, oh, brother, you need to do this with yourself. Brother, you need to sit this way. Brother, you need to sit that way. Brother, why are you smoking that? Why? I already talked about this already. You already know this part of the high and this part of the mighty. This part of the high right here. Ain't y'all? You're gonna read the goddamn. Read this. Read the. You know. Read the title. You know. Read the description. But anyway, black people, like I said, black people can't come together because they don't think of themselves as a collective body. They think of themselves as individuals. And individuals are possessions. Individuals are possessions. They're not a people. Those who think of themselves as individuals really are possessions of those dominants who think of themselves as a people. In other words, what I mean by that is, because Caucasians think of themselves as a people, a white people, and when they say a white people collectively together, they meant that as a collective. They called you black people, but with the intent that you would never come together, because again, you have to have something to come together under. You have to have a culture, a heritage, a nationality, something real. And none of the things that we've been given up until this point have been real. Moorish teachings, Moorism and Moorish teachings and Islam and Christianity, all that, that's Pan-Africanism. That's nothing for us to come together under. That's nothing for us to come together under, because we're not African, number one. I already debunked that. We're not African. We're not black. Our skin is not black. Okay? These are all slave titles. Even the Moorish thing, like I said, the word Moor means black. And until I see you so-called Moors dominating Morocco, you shouldn't be sitting up here calling yourself Moors. We actually have heritage and history here in America. And we do, to some extent, we do dominate America. What do I mean by that? Because we're not physically in charge of the government, just because we're not physically in charge of the law enforcement, the judicial, and the things like that, these systems that service this society, we do, however, still have a very strong hold on the culture. You see, what for good or for bad, whether it be some black female twerking like a damn chicken head, or some dope fiend looking nigga who look like he on heroin and whatnot, talking some drill and trap nonsense, some dribble rap, whatever the hell you niggas talking about. For good or for bad, we still have a very strong hold on the culture, on society, on societal culture in America. And we always have, ever since blues, ever since our music, ever since we got out of bondage and blues and jazz and all that, we were slowly taking hold of the culture of America, because music and food and things like that, that is what denotes a culture. Language, right? Language, music, food. That's what denotes culture. That's what denotes culture. And of course, rituals and things like that. Now, the music, we got that on Smash. Music, we got jazz, R&B, soul, rap, hip hop, all that, bebop, all that's our music. Rock and roll, that's all our music. The only thing the Caucasians got is heavy metal. That's their shit. We don't even want that. They can have heavy metal. Yeah, that shit. You know, we don't want no heavy. And even that was influenced by the rock guitar Jimi Hendrix. Even that was influenced by that. But we know they can keep the heavy metal. You see. But everything else is ours. And, you know, even country music, country music is even arguable. Because, you know, country music, they could get that to a country. Nobody really checking for them country music, except a few Caucasians. All right, and a few so-called black people. One of my wives like country music, but we need to. I've been saying this for the longest time. We need to open up a whole nother section as ethnic Americans in country music. I'll go as far to say we inspired country music. We should open up a country soul section, and you should have country soul artists. We should have country soul artists. Because the Caucasians, you know, they don't want you in country music. The racist Caucasians and things like that, they only want, they want to hold on to country music. They don't want you in country music. So we should do our own version, which is country soul. When Beyonce made that country song, which sounded damn good, you know, it was very soulful. She should have just did her own category called country soul. You see, then just have our own awards. We need our own ethnic American music awards. We don't need to be sitting at the Grammys and all these other. What is the music that I don't know? I guess it's the Grammys, right? We don't need to be sitting at these awards. We don't need to be signed to these Caucasian labels where they robbing the hell out of you or sitting up here for streams. We don't need to do any of that because all they do is exploit you. The Caucasian record labels exploit you. Okay, these award shows exploit you. To whereas you niggas got to put on a damn show like Will Smith and getting smacking Chris Rock upside the head and whatnot, the Oscars and all this nonsense. You see all this foolishness. You should be making our own movies for us. Our own movies, financing our own movies through studio and everything else separate from these people, man. Stop letting them control our, images. We should be doing everything for ourselves. And the only one that talked about doing for self and was made an example of that was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Just him. Shout out to him. It was his birthday a couple of days ago, on the 7th. Let me move on to the next, I got on to the beta male simps. So I'm just freeballing it right now. Interracial relationships. Are certain people predisposed to get inside of interracial relationships? Now, I'm going to say something. I don't really care about interracial relationships because most of the people that are in those interracial relationships, they're not suitable to be amongst, married to an ethnic American person anyway. So when you see that so-called fine sister with a white boy or Asian or whoever, let her be with him, man. And when they do that, they should be granted no return into ethnic American culture. So-called black people, they let anybody in. I'm sorry. You so-called black women, you degrade yourself with these other races of males, and you let them basically use you as a damn cum rag, and then you make your way back over into amongst black men when that don't work out. They shouldn't be allowed to make their way back over. I'm gonna just be honest with you. They shouldn't, because you a damn traitor. But of course, you so-called black people, y'all don't see things that way. Because again, y'all just, anything goes amongst black people. That's another reason why I said we had to drop the black thing and leave the people who still want to be black behind. This is a conversation for forward-thinking people to put our race first as ethnic Americans, put our heritage first, put our nationality, our who we are as a people, our ethnicity first as ethnic Americans. We need to do that. And like I said, I'm only calling out for the forward-thinking people, the young and the old, and of our people who feel as though we definitely need community again. We need a real community, not the fake black community, a real ethnic American community. You see, we need that. Because that way we ferret out all of the people who come into the so-called black community selling us a bunch of BS, guiding us in the wrong direction, talking nonsense to us. We can't figure out who's sincere because you got so many people coming up under the black thing, right? And what do you do in blackness? What do you do in darkness? Why do people love blackness and darkness? Because that's a way to hide. When you see people that don't want to let go of the black thing, right? When you see people that start fighting against, you'll hear people fighting against what I'm saying, as ethnic Americans. Why, that you'll have people that have an issue with that title. I don't really care. I done started the process of trademarking and buying that up. I'm keeping it real. You see, I ain't like Tariq Nasheed. I ain't foundational black American is a lineage and you buying it up. I'm straight up buying that shit up. I'm buying up ethnic American. I'm doing it. I've started the process. Let's just say that. You see, when you hear ethnic American, be linked back to us. You know, you got some people, and if people even try to use it, that's okay. That's fine. I don't, even though we don't want them to, but people are going to do what they do regardless. This is about action and the evolution of our people, man. This is for the betterment of us, because the worst enemy is us. The ones that we got to fight against, the war is basically within. The war is within. It ain't out. It ain't really out with the white man and other races. The war is within. You see, because when we are able to put the blackness asleep, when we're able to get rid of the black and all of the people who are part of that stained black mindset away from us, separated, cut out of us, or we just separate as those ethnic American people who know who we are, have our own language, which we have as Americans. We have our own American language, which I done started. Our own American language, our own American names, which we have. Our own ethnic American names for us. We need that for us. We need that more than reparations. I'm going to be honest with you. Reparations is good. I'm all for reparations. But we need to get our minds right. You know, I'm talking about the intelligent ones of our people. Let the black ones get it and let them ball out till they fall out, get money and throw it away on nothing and not do anything for the future. That's fine. But I'm talking about for us, for our sake, right? For our children's sake. And again, like I said, with these people were predisposed to that. Like I said, these are the people. Like I said, I'm not talking about the people who you got now. You have some sisters that woke up later and realized what they did was wrong and mixing their seed with these humans, you know, and laying with them. And they realized that, yeah, you did go against nature in doing that. Because, again, every species of male and female, men and women, we have our own, mate for our own. And you have your mates for your own. Again, I'm not telling people what to do. You do whatever you want to do. Again, this is not for the people. I'm not advising this for the people that want to argue against it. See, I'm not out here to be contrary to people. You see, the people that don't want to listen to me, that don't agree with me, you free not to agree. I'm not here for everybody. I'm not here to talk to everybody. I'm only here to talk to the intelligent ones of my people. Because the last thing I want to do is be going back and forth, calling myself arguing with people, who ain't trying to hear nothing anyway, just arguing for the sake of arguing. What's some more things I want to touch on? All right. Redefining real masculinity amongst bronze men. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Again, I talked about earlier, you heard me speak on the male bitches. You see, that's the same thing with when you want solid men and solid women, you got to get rid of you got to separate from the garbage and the trash. You got to do the sifting. A sifting process has to be done in order for you to get the best type of people who are about the evolution of our people, who are about the betterment of our people, who are about our people going forward collectively. You see, this is what we need to be thinking about more than anything. We need to be thinking about this going forward. We can't go forward unless we know who we are. Black people don't have no identity. I said that our identity is ethnic American. I stand on that. Because we are the ethnicity of this country. We were here first. And you're going to have a lot of these simple-minded Negroes who were educated by the Caucasians, programmed by their slave master, who say different. Well, the white man said we came over on slave shit. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I'm not going to go through that argument. I done debunked the hell out of that already. I'm not going to keep going through the Pan-African argument and all this other nonsense. Again, these people who are still pushing blackness, I said this, in Pan-Africanism, the people who are still pushing that, they have an agenda and they're here to serve somebody else, and that's Caucasians. See, because it benefits Caucasians who push this lie that we Africans and that we black. It benefits them to keep this lie going. Why do I say that? Because I said this before and I'll say it again. When the real Americans stand up, the real natives, the real indigenous, the real ethnic Americans stand up, like what I'm doing here, like what I'm advocating here, what I'm doing here, what my people doing. When the real ethnic Americans stand up and we stop begging the white man and stop looking to him for answers for things and stop looking to him for this, that, and the third, looking at him for every single thing, because it has to take time. Once we say that we are Americans in our country, We are Americans in our country, the first Americans, the only real natives of this land, the only real ethnics of this land. Once we stand on that, then you're going to start to see things happen for us. Then a code of conduct, a law of order, and things are going to come out of that. You see, right now, so-called black men don't have no code of conduct. They have no law and order that they grant. The women have no order. They have no code of conduct. The men have no code of conduct. That's why the black females are running around out here twerking, wearing fake hair. The daughters being whores and sluts. The sons is being a bunch of degenerates. And now you can sit up here wearing pink. And a lot of them are sodomites now. It's just all from where we came from. This has been nothing but a downward spiral. And the spiral keeps dropping more and more and more. There is no more real manhood amongst black men, because the so-called white man is pushing out a lot of these black males in Hollywood and the media to effeminize themselves. They're being given financial incentive. A lot of these black males who you look to in Hollywood and on social media, a lot of them are nothing but a bunch of tools who are being paid to effeminize themselves and the image of so-called black men. You see, but that can happen when you have people who create your image. And when I say white people created the image of black people, which they did, that stereotypical image of black people, something that we weren't at one time. We were once a proud copper-colored race of people, right? The real ethnic Americans, 1828, shout out to the evidence that the white man left behind, the 1828 Merriam-Webster dictionary of who the real Americans are, which is not the Mongoloid Indians. Because remember now, they keep that same energy. They said they red. They the red men. They the red men. Red and copper is two totally different things. And it ain't the Mexicans. They the brown people, remember. That's us being described as the real Americans. Now, again, a lot of what we can't, the so-called black race, they can't step up as the copper-colored race because they said they black. They've been programmed to say they black, and you got a lot of so-called black people who have bought into that, and they're going to fight against it. But the hell with them. The hell with them. It's always going to be a small number, and I say small number, I don't mean just like, a super small number. It's going to be as opposed to the majority of people, but the majority don't mean a damn thing. The majority of people live and die and born and die every day. They don't even mean nothing. It's that minority that is on code mentally, following a code of conduct, a law and order. Those are the people who you look to. Those are the people that are going to be the people of tomorrow, the people that are going to change things. Okay? Let me see. My wise ain't. All right. Okay. Yeah. I'm just leading the question, see if there's any questions. Okay, you don't see any questions? Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's only going to be a chosen few. So, I gotta put my money where my mouth is. I gotta create something. I had to bring something about that was for the gathering of the ethnic Americans. You see. We ain't looking for a whole lot of people to be with us. We ain't looking for like millions. We ain't looking for the so-called black race. I would be a fool to think that the so-called black race was going to wake up overnight and embrace ethnic American heritage and culture and identify themselves as ethnic Americans. I'd be a fool. I don't want that, because, again, in order for you to start identifying as an ethnic American, you got to get your mind right, man. You got to get your mind right. You got to get your mind right. We don't want no thugs and want to be hood niggas and thoughts and all the riffraff and the trash that come out the black race to make their way into here amongst the ethnic Americans. We don't want that. We are building a code of conduct amongst ethnic Americans. We ain't no Christians in here. Ain't gonna be no Christians in here. Ain't gonna be no Muslims in here. Ain't gonna be no Israelites in here. Ain't gonna be no Pan-Africanists in here. It ain't gonna be no metaphysicians in here. It ain't gonna be no ass-kissing coons and sambos in here. You see, and there ain't gonna be no people that, can I bring my, can I embrace, can I still be human? No, ain't gonna be no humans in here. It's gonna be for the almond race, because, like I said before, I did the video. I said we're really the almond race. We're not part of the human race. So I said we had to get things right in the third dimensional level as a people of nationality and heritage. We had to get that right as ethnic Americans before we turn the card over from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, and we start talking about the almond race. See, because that's who we are by nature. I don't give a damn who looks at the video and don't get it. What is this guy talking? I don't care. If you don't get it, don't listen to me. I don't need the views. I don't need the likes. I don't need the money. I don't need the goddamn monetization. I don't need all of that. I'm not doing it for monetization. And again, I'm not saying I'm rich or anything. I'm not by no means, but I ain't hurting either. But I don't need it. I don't need the money to sit up here and just take every and anybody that want to claim that. I don't want everybody walking around with me and just claiming that. No, we want the best and the brightest, literally. We want the best and the brightest. Ethnic Americans stand up. We're going to have some ethnic American, everything coming out. We got, ethnic Americans stand up. You see, we're all about that. We got a lot of stuff coming and whatnot. And again, this is about us being a real community with law and order and code and conduct. But wait, that's something we're going to live by, because this is why you have your daughters out here doing what they doing, your sons out here doing what they doing. They just basically being turned into the dregs of society. They're being turned into the scum of the bottom of the barrel out here, just low life degenerates. This is what they being turned into out here, because there is no law for the men. There is no law for the women. There is no order, no structure. There's no community. There's no nothing. There's supposed to be all of that. And there's supposed to be leadership within that community. You see, you need community leaders. A lot of people want to get away from, we don't need no leaders. Well, how the hell you going to go in a direction if you don't have no director? How the hell you going to go in direction? If you don't have no director, you got people going in 50 different directions. For the people that say that shit, that claim we don't need no leaders, we don't need nobody, we don't need no saviors, we don't need no heroes, you the same people that's sitting around ain't doing nothing, man. You the guys sitting around, you really mad because you don't have the balls to stand up and guide your people and direct your people to nothing, that you don't want to see that happen for your people. I told you before that crab in the barrel mentality amongst black people has them to whereas they rather fail as individuals than succeed as a collective. They rather fail as individuals. They keep talking about we don't need no leaders, we don't need nobody. Everybody has a leader. If people are going in any direction and accomplishing things, trust and know there is a leader. There are leaders, there is a leader, there is a leading class. Because everybody's not a leader. Contrary to what you might think, everybody's not meant to be a leader. You can lead yourself to get up, go to the bathroom and do all the trivial things, but on a higher level, you have people who are leaders, people who get a bigger picture, who have the bigger picture, and they share that and they bring people along. There's nothing wrong with that. We the only ones, black people, black people, I'm not going to say we, I don't want to include myself in nothing black. Nothing black. And I mean that because blackness is nothing but a state of ignorance. Something in which our copper-colored brethren and sisters fell into, that we were pushed into by Caucasians. So when you see these niggas out here still trying to push blackness, these Negroes, and I use the word nigga, yes. When you see them still pushing blackness, please understand that they are here to serve the beast. That whether they are doing it knowingly or unknowingly, they're still dangerous in the path of our evolution. So, I think I touched on everything, but I want to touch on a few other things, since I'm up here. What time is it? 8:30? Okay. I'm going to take it to 9. I'm going to take it to 9. Because I'm just feeling it. The herb is good. The air is good. Got a nice steak dinner waiting for me. Bison steak. Oh, eat bison meat. Those of you who still like to eat steaks and stuff like that, get the buffalo, man. The buffalo is the best. Don't eat cow. Get buffalo. Bison is the best. I only eat bison when I do the sirloin steaks and I do the T-bones and things like that. Yes, I am a meat eater. I said that in my other videos. Real, dyed-in-the-wool carnivore, and I eat vegetables too, but never no damn vegetarian or damn sure no fruitarian or whatever. That's for fruit cups. But anyway, let me see. So I'm gonna touch on some of these things I put on the wall. Okay. I talked about redefining and reinforcing real manhood and real masculinity amongst bronze men. Again, we have to stop playing games with each other. Like this clown did in my comment section. A lot of you black males, and I went to this guy's page who made a little comment about me, a little slick this. Like I said, I'm not hung up on it. I don't care. I already know we got a lot of male bitches out here. I went to this guy's page And he got tattooed, like fruity looking tattoos, all over little fruit cup tattoos and little colorful tattoos. So nigga, for you that's listening to this, like I said, don't watch my stuff no more. Don't watch my stuff. I deleted your account. I don't want you watch. I don't want people like you watching. Because again, I don't subscribe to black men playing with each other. I don't subscribe to. I don't play with no men. You see, I don't play with men. I don't go back and forth with men or males. Let me make that distinction. I don't play with men or males. Okay? I'm a man. I'm not a male. I don't play games. I don't sit up here and sneak this and play games with people and disrespect people and whatnot. I don't do that. You see, real men don't do that because, see, real men kill each other. I said men kill each other. Females fight. Men kill. I said it on my broadcast. Men kill. That's why, see, men don't play games. Men don't disrespect each other because you know that can put you in the grave and put another man in the penitentiary. We don't play no games. Okay, when I say something, I mean that. And I don't get up here to play games with nobody. I'm not up here to just, let myself be heard. I live my life on a code of conduct as a man. Not as no male. There's a difference. See, I told you the difference between males and men. Men are those who are mentally correct. Thus the term men, M-E-N. Just like woman, M-E-W-O-M-E-N. Women and men are mentally correct. They are on a higher level of masculine and feminine energy. Males could be anything, could be qualified from people to animals to their plant life, whatever the case may be. Males and females, that term could be classified as any type of anatomically correct being. You see, just because you got a penis don't make you a man. Just because you got a vagina don't make you a woman. Males and females, male dogs and female dogs have penises and vaginas. And what? Animals have penises and vaginas, so they males and females. I'm not a male, I'm a man. And I address men as men. And I don't even bother to address males at all. I don't want to address no males. You see, at all. I don't really want to see them in my sight, much less in my community. So let me just move on with that. There's got to be a code of conduct on how men deal with each other and how women deal with each other. If you truly want a real brotherhood and sisterhood, men have to restore that level of respect for men. Men are going to respect men. Real men respect real men. Real recognize real, just as real women respect real women. The reason why you so-called black females don't have a real sisterhood is because y'all got the minds of children. Just like black males got the minds of children. You niggas play too much, man. You play too much. You see? And it's going to come a time, like I said, where nobody's going to be playing with you. You see? And that go for the beast, your master, too. The death of the African-American lie. That African-American thing, hopefully it's dying on the vine, man. Hopefully the whole African-American thing is dying on the vine. Man, the hell with Africa. I'm going to just say it like that. The hell with Africa. You guys just want to sit up here and put on your Pan-African costumes. Now, this ain't no disrespect to the Africans. This ain't no disrespect to our ethnic American brothers and sisters who are amongst the Africans, because you got a lot of ethnic American people who was migrated into Africa, but they're not actually African. But as far as us claiming a landmass, again, no disrespect to the people that live there, but us as ethnic Americans, the only landmass we should be claiming is America. Is America as the real ethnic indigenous Americans. Everybody else came after us. Don't forget that. Okay, everybody from the Mongoloid Indians to the Caucasians and everybody else came behind us. Because wherever we go, people follow us. Hell, if we was on our way to hell or to Mars or Venus, then you see the so-called white men, where they going? They'll be right behind us. Everybody follows us because we are the first and only real people here, the first and only real natural beings on this earth. Don't you ever forget that. As the almond race is the omni race, the omnipresent, the omnipotent, the omnipotent. We are the continuation of the connection with that race of lords who came onto the planet first. Everybody else was created here. All right. Let me touch on a few more things. And I done ran through everything, pretty much. I want to make sure though. I talked about how we should only be sitting amongst, when so-called black men, which y'all should never do. Again, you so-called black men. I'm talking about ethnic American men. As we evolve out of this whole black and African American thing, hopefully I can take y'all out of this, the intelligent ones of our people. I can take out of this whole black and African American thing. Please, I hope I can do that. If this video does nothing else, hopefully it takes you out of that whole black mentality, because our skin is not black. Hello. Maybe y'all need to find something black, a shoe, a hat or something like that. Put it up next to your skin. For the ignorant ones of our people who don't get what I'm saying, for the slow people. Put it next to your skin. Find something black, put it next to your skin and say, is this the same color as my skin? When it dawns on you, when it slowly begins to dawn on you that no, you're not the same color as that black object you have. It's not the same color as your skin. Then you can start, visualizing the copper-colored races, the copper-colored people. You see, the people who the penny was created for. The money that's of the least value, but yet which was meant to be a diss to our people, the copper-colored people, the people who have the same skin complexion as the pennies, the elemental people, as I say. You see, think about that and why they called you black as a way to hide who you were. And a lot of y'all still want to be hidden. I don't trust hidden people. I don't trust hidden figures. I don't trust anything that's hidden. Everything, see, the time of hiding is over with. Everything is coming out into the open right now, especially who we are as the ethnic Americans. That's coming out. When you so-called black men, you sit in the so-called judicial system, and you got some white judge who don't like niggas coming in front of you, banging his gavel and telling you, I'm going to give you the maximum amount of time that's allowed for me to give you. And they're going to make sure they give you the most maximum, the most high, because they just don't like you so-called black men. But then when it's one of their sons, when these Caucasians see one of their sons standing, some white boy who look like it could be one of their sons standing from like a Kyle Rittenhouse, or somebody standing in front of like the white judge who basically treated Kyle Rittenhouse like that was his damn grandson and basically let him out. He was basically, what kind of judicial system is this? What the hell kind of judicial system is this? Will you let a goddamn murderer go loose? A killer. Not a killer. A murderer. Not a killer. See, because a killer and a murderer is different. It's two different things. A killer is one who kills to protect family, lives, people from something that's trying to harm them. That's the term righteous kill. When you kill somebody, when you kill something or something that's trying to attack you or somebody, whether it be a two-legged animal or a four-legged animal, that's a righteous kill. Anybody is trying to attack you or harm you, I don't care who they are, that's a righteous kill. A murderer is somebody who just takes someone's life or takes a creature's life for no reason whatsoever. If you kill an animal to eat for your sustenance, that's righteous. That's a righteous kill. But for when these guys go ahead hunt and they kill a damn moose or a deer or something just to kill it, just to be killed, that's murder, man. A lot of you hunters out here that's gonna kill an animal and don't eat it, that's murder, man. You a murderer. You're not a killer. And those who do murder, that's gonna be the same fate that you're gonna suffer. But this guy let this white boy out because he white, he Caucasian. I mean, it makes sense. You're gonna identify with and sympathize with people that look like you. That only makes all the common sense in the world. So it made sense for that white judge to play like he was being impartial when he wasn't, and let Kyle Rittenhouse go. But then he'll be sitting in front of if Kyle Rittenhouse's name was Carl Johnson, that nigga would have never been seeing the light of day ever again. If his name was Carl Johnson, you already know that. And that shouldn't even be a thing, because in a real judicial system, it shouldn't matter what race you are. It shouldn't matter what color you are. But we already see here in the United States, this is not a real judicial system. This is based on whether we like you, whether we don't like you. That's why this shit is going to come down. Because it's done in unrighteousness. Don't stand up and claim that you are sitting here and you are representing judgment and righteousness and fairness when you're not. When you sit up here and you give people time because you don't like the color of their skin, or you don't like their face, or you don't seen a video, or you came home one day and seen some nigga in bed with your white woman, You see, or your granddaughter got some was listening to some bumping some damn whoever, some black rapper or something like that, and that's the one who gonna come to and judge who's standing in front of them. And they let that happen here. They'll sit here and know you just gave somebody 20 years for a bag of weed, a bag of weed, some herb or whatever. Meanwhile, somebody got a bag of heroin or some damn crystal meth, you let them go. See, stuff like that. It takes bronze men to realize, you know what, I'm not going to destroy this man's life. A bronze judge and whatnot. Even though, like I said, you got some Sambos, like the black lady judge that was up there who was up here caping for the cave woman. The cave woman that shot what's the guy's name that killed it? And you know, like I said, what's the guy's name? Botham John, the cave woman that shot Botham John. You see, and his brother and the man. That was just a whole coon. That was just a whole coon show. That was just a whole minstrel show. That goddamn trial was just a whole damn minstrel show. From the judge, from the bailiff, from Botham John brother. They might well have put on some damn blackface, some extra black. I would have liked to give them the shoe polish to put on and the red lipstick and the white gloves. Can I touch her hair? Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to see if I touch on everything here because I want to go up to 9. Again, share, subscribe, like, if you so choose. If not, it's okay. Last thing I'm going to talk about, because there'll be more topics to come. Next time I'm doing this, I'm going on live, probably Tuesday. I'm going to get as much content on the channel as possible. Why we disregard our ethnic American music? Why does this generation throw away jazz? Why do we throw away blues? Why do we throw away classic rap music? Because before there was hip hop, there was rap. You see, there's a difference between rap music and hip hop. The rappers, and I was explaining this to a brother that's about to come out and rhyme and whatnot. You know, he's a rapper. I told him you should be a rapper, not an MC. There's a difference. Let me give you a little bit of history on this. You see, the rappers were actually, because the word rap, as in rap, was the way to say talk. Rap. Let me rap to you for a minute. Rapping was a phrase that was used for talking. So when you had rappers, back in the 70s, early 70s, you had the last poets and brothers who was doing, performative poetry over music and was rhyming over music. That was your first rappers right there. And even going back further in the 30s and 40s, that's why I laugh at this dude, Fat Joe, Fat Ho, whatever his name is. I laugh at this guy talking about Latins is 50% of hip hop. I laugh at that. He must not have seen those. He must not know about the last poets in the 70s, or you can find those old videos where you got old ethnic American bronze men up here rhyming on over music and stuff like that. That goes all the way back there. Rapping over music, rhyming over music is nothing new. That goes all the way back. That started with ethnic American people, just like graffiti. Let me get this straight. Let me straighten this out. Like Tariq Nasheed said. Like graffiti, which was created by ethnic American people. Again, ethnic American people, copper-colored races, so-called black people. The ethnic American, the copper-colored bronze men and bronze women, they were the first break dancers, the first rappers, the first MCs, the first ones to bring out the music and play it in the park, like Tariq Nasheed said, and I agree with him. Fat Joe and them don't know nothing about funk culture because funk culture produced hip-hop. It produced hip-hop. You had all these guys rhyming and playing James Brown in the parks in the 70s, early 70s, before any Latinos, while they was listening to Tito Puente and beating on drum. They wasn't dealing with no rap music. They came along later in the 80s. All them guys that they talking about, Whip and whoever the hell is the name they want to keep coming up with, these are people that came along in the 80s, a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys. We've been doing rap music, hip-hop and all. We've been doing that. Graffiti. From a brother by the name of Cornbread from Philadelphia. He was the first graffiti artist. That's factual. Not no Latinos. ethnic American, bronze, copper colored, woolly haired brother. And again, we're not including everybody in on our ethnic American heritage. We need to stop doing that. Stop including this black and brown. There's no black and no brown, because number one, we not black, and they had a little brown. The brown people identify as white. Okay, there's no black and brown. The brown identifies white, and we ain't black. So forget all that. We need to break that marriage up immediately. We ain't got no goddamn friends, especially when somebody can sit up here and try to take credit for our music, for our heritage and culture that they breaking up and basically siphoning out to other people. They already did it with our ethnic American heritage. They already handed over our Mesoamerican heritage and culture to the Mexicans, lying, talking about the old Mexican with them straight-haired Mexican people of today, lying to our face, lying, saying the Aztec, the Inca, the Mayan, and the Toltec people are not ethnic Americans. Stop. The Inca, the Aztec, the Mayan, the Olmec, the Toltec, those are all our people. We come from those people. The people that were here in slavery, who family went through, go back past the 1800s, 1700s. We was here. That's our connection to America. They walked into America from the South. Okay? Just to get that straight. And we always went into southern regions because southern regions tended to be tropically good for growth and things like that, would be lush for greenery and the growth of vegetation and things like that. That's why a lot of our people ended up in the South, just like how people ended up in the South here in America, and they had us in slavery in the South, from Mississippi, Georgia, and all them places like that, because these are the places where our people went, because that's where the soil was rich and we would grow things. So when the Europeans came along, when the Caucasians came along, and they seen us growing from that rich soil and things like that, the rich red clay in the soil and growing food out of that, they wanted to come in and just take over our stuff, which they did. Everything that Caucasians got in this country was through theft, through robbery, which is funny to me how they can sit up here and act and call people thieves and criminals. That's hypocrisy to me. This whole country was based on theft, enslavement, on crime. This whole country was based, the foundation of this government was based on it. Let's just say it. I mean, you know, people might say, oh, that's anti. It's not anti anything. It's the truth. I'm not for or against anything. Truth is truth. Now, if the truth is seen as hate speech, I don't know why. I'm not one of these people that's anti-government at all. I'm not anti-government. I'm just anti-lies. I'm anti-lies. I'm pro-truth. I'm not pro-lies. And see, it seems like when you're pro-truth, people tend to have a problem with that because the truth hurts. The truth hurts. Lies feel a lot better, aka beliefs. That's why belief is pushed heavily in this society over the truth. People want you to believe in something because in the word believe, you see the word, in the word believe and belief, you see the word lie. In the word belief and the word believe, the word lie is in there. So when you people are sitting up here believing in a God and a devil, when you're sitting up here believing in a religion, when you're sitting up here believing in that, again, keep in mind they ask for the believers for a reason. They don't ask for the thinkers. They want the believers. The thinkers cause too many problems. The thinkers ask too many questions. Okay? They don't want the believers. They don't want the thinkers. They want the believers. Right? Okay. But I'm about to wrap this up in a minute. How many time we got? Got 5 minutes. Please, like I said, like and share. Right? I'm seeing that and all the other videos on High and Mighty Talks, check them out. Like I said, man, I got no problem with being a small YouTuber. If this platform grows, I know with the growth comes a lot of scrutiny. I know that with the growth will come a lot of scrutiny. Might encounter people. See, that's why the reason why I didn't really want to monetize this channel, because I know once I monetize it, that's when the YouTube police gonna come out. Oh, you said something to offend this person, or you said this to offend that person. You gotta watch what you say. You know, I thought this was freedom of speech, but then again, it's a platform. I get it. It's a platform, and they are running a business here, and they supposedly care about advertisers, and you can't say certain things. But like I said, it's funny how you can say the word nigger and it's not a problem. It's funny how you could degrade so-called black people and it's never a problem. You say anything about anybody else, that's a strike. That's hate speech. You should be censored. You should be canceled. You see, this is why you can't trust these people. A lot of these people who are the big YouTubers, a lot of these guys who got 100,000 followers, 100, those type of people are under heavy scrutiny. Number one, because their pages are monetized and they want to keep that monetization money coming in, from which I understand is pretty good money. At one point, I had a monetized page with YouTube, and I had one of the brothers, post the videos. I was too busy. I ain't had time to be posting. I wasn't into the whole thing of making videos every 5 minutes and whatnot. So the things I did, I had brothers posted, and with a little bit of monetization money we got, wasn't really it was nice, but it wasn't nothing big. We split it. I didn't care about the money. It's not about that. I'm all about the evolution of our people. I'm all about not the revolution, but the evolution of my people. The evolution is ethnic American. That's the evolution of our people, ethnic American. Black is not an evolution. Black is a continual revolution of nothingness. That's what black represents, a continual evolution of nothingness. Nothing. African Americanism, Pan-Africanism, all that is an evolution of nothing. That's a revolution of nothing. Excuse me. That's not no forward motion for our people. That's not a forward leap or a forward jump for our people. No. So we need to take that forward leap. We need to start thinking for ourselves. We need to band together under one thing that does not include religion, that does not include no philosophies from anybody else, no outsiders. And let me just say, man, people might not agree with this, but we definitely don't need no confused, we just gonna call you sexually confused people. We don't need no sexually confused people with us, if you know what I mean. And I'm trying to be PG with this. I don't want to use the words I usually use in the street. Those of you who know me, I got words. I got the words that would be considered hate speech for this, but I don't use those words. At least not on this platform. All right, so we're gonna keep it PG. We're gonna keep it G-rated. We'll keep it G-rated for the general audience. See, I want to try to keep it clean. But yeah, we're about to close out. I pretty much said everything that was on my mind. We'll be back around Tuesday, Wednesday, and whatnot. Thank you for listening. We're gonna close out in the name of Amen. By the power of Amen, and Amen we trust, and Amen we thank, and in Amen we continue forward forever. That's it. Oh. In the stream. You ended it?